Hey everybody, Tim Norris here, aka GreyElephant.
I'm Carmen Norris.
And welcome to a quick review by GreyElephant Gaming. Today we're going to be talking about...
Onward to Venus.
Yes! This is by Asmodee and Treefrog game. It's the second of the two Martin Wallace games that has been sent to us. We had Mythotopia, and now we have this one. Now, the purpose of this video is to give our opinion quick and to the point. But if they want to see more about the game, what should they do?
They need to watch our live play.
It's right there for a reason, folks. And that's going to give you a great idea on how this game plays out in...
real time.
No artificial or fake time is included. So we write down our thoughts here just to make sure that we convey all of our thoughts. And don't forget anything, any important minute details. And I am first. So right off the bat, I have to say that I love looking at this game on the table. It's really cool with all the planets. And you line them all up, laying them out just... It's unique looking and different, you know, typical board game, you unfold it. This one you just flat out just place them on there and you get to jump from one to the other. And I think the artwork has that old sci-fi vibe as well, and I tell you, I particularly like it.
It does, it's pretty cool because you're in orbit around the planets. Well, tiles are placed on the planets each round, and the game basically consists of snatching these up or winning them. Being first player is determined by die roll. And I've noticed it can be a huge advantage to be first player.
Yeah.
There might be only one factory available, and you're almost guaranteed to get it if you're first player, and, you know, everybody else is out of luck. There are big game tiles that are also placed on the planets. These are obtained in the exact same way as a factory, but they simply give you 1 point. I really think that this is, you know, I think there's some imbalance there.
Yeah, and randomness as well.
Yeah.
And to me, grabbing the factories on as many different planets really seems very key to the game. Even though you can't really predict when or which planets that these will pop up, whenever they do, you want to grab them because this is going to allow you to better get use out of your tanks. Whereas mines do give you more money, it just seems like factories are more versatile.
Yeah, because you can use your action to build 2 military units. These can be tanks. Tanks are big hitters, but tanks are difficult to use because they typically stay on the planet where you build them.
Exactly.
There are cards you can get to move them. I think there's 2 in the entire deck.
Yeah, rare.
So this can end up being really frustrating if your opponent gets a card that allows them to move the tanks and you don't. But typically... you need to strategize by having factories in different locations so that you can build the tanks there and not build so many in one place.
Exactly. And I found it very interesting because this game is like a Euro war game combo, okay? But the military units, the ships, the tanks, and the infantry, they do not count as gaining majority on the planet when you are deciding who has majority and gaining control of the planet. Instead, it's determined by whoever has the most mines and factories. So it kind of gives more of a worker placement kind of feel to it than, I guess, maybe a war game. I don't know.
Yeah, it kind of takes away from the war game feel when your units don't really count.
Yeah, because, you know, I could have way more military, but you may have one single factory, therefore you control that planet.
Well, there are times when you might not necessarily want control of a planet because there are crisis tiles. And if these crisis tile trigger, it can hurt you by eliminating your military units or destroying a factory or mine of yours and some other, taking your money, things like that. Crisis tiles are just as tough to destroy as it is to get a mine, but they only give you 1 point. So it's really... not something you want to do to have to fight these crisis tiles constantly.
Right, but sometimes it's a necessity. You just have to.
Oh yeah, if they're drawn out of a bag or triggered by a roll, then you're going to get hurt.
So my overall thoughts, and I've got everything written down here, I want to make sure I cover all this, is that I think it is a pretty cool game, but it is highly luck-driven. And what I mean by that is drawing cards is luck-based because they do not feel completely balanced. Just like in Mythotopia, I didn't feel like those cards were balanced. These don't feel balanced either. And one player could really get away with murder by just drawing the right cards, you know? Next, the tiles that come out of the bag each round, that really makes a difference in this game because whoever's first player is going to have first grab. Like you said, if there's only one factory, guess where they're probably going to go? They're going to go after that factory.
Or if the tile happens to be placed where you already have military units on the planet, or you're close to it. And,
possibly you're getting crisis tiles dumped on your planet after you are...
Exactly.
You can't control these things. Lastly, it does have dice, and the way that the combat works is a little bit wonky in my opinion. In our two-player games, it seems to never fail that one player is getting all the good cards, the good tiles, and all the good rolls, while the other player is being forced to burn up extra troops to make up the difference of the bad die rolls. I like how you can take control of a planet, but at the same time, you could be leery by wanting to control too many planets because of the crisis tiles.
Yeah.
I would like to have seen extra tiles where you could have purchased them, because you can purchase infantry, you can purchase tanks, and you can purchase ships. I would have liked to have seen a colonization tile versus drawing random factories out of the bag, because factories are a big deal. And possibly you could purchase these colonization tiles, move them with your shuttles, drop off the colonization tiles, and purchase factories to build on the planet versus the random draw. I also would have liked to have seen a bit more control over the dice during the combat. That mechanic really it just feels lazy in this game, because it's just, oh well, roll the dice and let fate just take place. It seems like they could have done a little bit something more to give you a little bit control, okay? I think the game has a lot of potential, and I do believe that war gamers are probably going to enjoy this more so than Euro gamers. I've had games where I've just flat out enjoyed myself, and then I've had games where I just wanted to chuck the game out the window because the dice are being so mean to me. Every time it seems like I'm adding 6 to every single combat. But in the end, I did find that I enjoyed the game more than I didn't.
Okay, well, overall, I'm just going to say this game is not my cup of tea. I mean, I'm not big on skirmish-type games. You guys know that. Y'all know this. This one, you know, it relies on random tile placement, random card draws, and random dice rolls. I mean, it's even worse than your typical skirmish-type game, in my opinion. Even when I'm the one getting lucky, I find it annoying that I have really no control over the outcome, and it just makes for an unenjoyable experience.
Yeah, and I could totally understand, and I think that's where war gamers who are already, war gamers are already programmed that I've got a fistful of dice, and I'm leaving everything up to chance. So, even though it does have the war gamer / Euro feel, it's more catered to war gamers, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so.
I would have to agree. So we have a bit of a mixed review, but you don't have to take our word for it.
That's right! I was about to say it. You should check out the live play, and that's going to give you guys a great feel on how this game plays in...
real time.
No artificial time there. And as usual, we appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.